Hello ladies, welcome or welcome back to the Confidence Club Premium membership. And if you are watching on my main channel, the teaser of this video, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Aisha, I'm a certified trauma-informed coach, and I am on a mission to help 1 million women become their most confident and successful selves with the use of law of assumption. Here on this channel, on the Confidence Club Premium membership, I go into detail about the different methods and techniques, as well as sharing my own methods and interpretation of techniques to really help you understand and use them effectively, as well as going into some of the deeper lessons of manifestation and kind of taking the basic principles to the next level so that you can completely and thoroughly understand law of assumption and use it to your advantage. So as you can see by the title of this video, it is how to close the gap. And as you can see on the image on the screen here, the gap is referring to the space between your current reality and your desired reality. So a lot of times we think about, doing and how is it going to unfold and the bridge of incidents and all of that. So that's what the gap refers to, is everything that happens in between where you're at now and where you desire to be. Now, this video specifically is a lesson that I created out of something Sammy Ingram said in one of her videos. So she mentioned how affirmations and techniques are just the vehicle, right? They're like the car that gets you there. They're a vehicle that helps you transport yourself from point A to point B. Point A being your current reality, point B being your desired reality. It's just like going on Google Maps and you start at your current location and you set your desired location and you just follow the route, right? And what is taking you there, or how you're getting there, is the vehicle you're in. So I've created this whole lesson based on the idea that these techniques are vehicles, and I'm going to show you with a cute little graphic here how these vehicles are functioning in terms of getting you from your current reality to your desired reality. So let's move on to the next slide. Obviously, your current reality is here. And as you can see on the screen, there's this cute little girl pointing across like, I want to go there. I want to be over there. My desired reality is over there, whether that is money or travel or family and relationship or health and fitness. You see yourself as on one side here in the current reality on what I call Starfish Island. And you want to get to Crab Island, where all the things that you desire seem to be hanging out. Like whatever it is you want, it's over there. It's not here where you're at. And part of closing the gap is to eliminate the gap. And how do we eliminate the gap? Well, that's what today's video lesson is all about. But before I get into the vehicles of manifestation, I want you to understand that by acknowledging that there is a gap, this girl here pointing across from Starfish Island to Crab Island, that's part of the problem, is you're saying, I'm over here and the stuff I want is over there. And the more that you affirm, the more that you tell that story of I'm here and what I desire is over there, the bigger the gap becomes. And the other thing that causes this gap and makes you feel like it's far away is setting limitations on yourself. So let's start with the example of money. If you believe that you have to work really hard for money and you feel really burnt out in your current reality, it feels far away. The reality of you having a bunch of money feels really far away because it feels like in order to get there, you have to do a lot of work. And I don't know about you, but I don't like working too hard, too much. I'm all about like effort and intentionality and like doing what you feel passionate and inspired about, but I don't really want to feel like I'm slaving away towards my manifestation. I want to feel happy and excited and grateful to be doing whatever it is I'm doing, such as when I make these videos for my business, I'm lit up. I'm passionate about this. I really enjoy this. So I don't feel like I'm working hard when I do this. But yes, making your manifestation feel hard or feel like you have to do a lot of steps is one of the reasons that this gap exists. And the other thing, for example, like travel. If you're thinking about, okay, I want to take this trip, but I have to save up this much money, and okay, I have to get my passport, but before I get my passport, I have to get my passport photo done, and before I get my passport photo done, I have to make sure I have the money for the passport, and before I get all that, I have to get my, social security card and my driver's license in order, and I haven't updated my driver's license, it's going to expire. So you see how there's like all these steps? That's not living in the end. That's saying, I'm over here like the girl pointing in the current reality, and all of the desires I have are over there. And there's all these steps in between creating this gap, which is why I'm not here. The gap is something that you perceive is there. So you think, because I'm here and what I want is over there, I have all this space, all this time, all this money, all this energy, all this effort that I have to do in order to get myself there. And even the use of vehicles can feel like a huge task. It can feel like, okay, well, I'm going to do my affirmations in the morning, and then I'm going to, go about my day for a little bit, and anytime I pass by a mirror, I'm going to do some quick mirror work, and then when I get home from work, I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to do a quick meditation, and then right before bed, I'm going to script, and I got to make sure that I do this 7 days a week, otherwise I'm not going to get my manifestation. This is the only way to close the gap. Like, that's the other reason that you feel as though there's a gap to be closed, is you are treating the vehicles of manifestation as extra steps. Instead of them being extra steps, they should just be part of your lifestyle. They're part of who you are. They're an extension of who you are. So now is about the time I get into the nitty-gritty of this video lesson here. So if you would like to continue viewing this lesson, it is going to be on the Confidence Club Premium membership. You should be able to see a black join button somewhere where the subscribe button usually is, and it will allow you to sign up for the Confidence Club Premium membership, and you can view all of my video lessons over there, all of the Mindset to Manifest podcast episodes that I have that are exclusive to the membership, as well as any other videos that I have on there. I do plan on putting meditations on there pretty soon, which I am so excited about. So if this is where we part ways, thank you so much for tuning in to this video. And I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that at least it gave you a little piece of the puzzle to help you understand the gap of manifestation. Now, if you are on my Confidence Club Premium membership, hello ladies. So happy that you decided to continue this lesson over here. So now we are moving into the next slide, and this next slide is where the magic is. This is the meat and potatoes. This is where we really get into the vehicles of manifestation and how to get from current reality to your desired reality. So as you can see, we have this girl swimming, and that represents scripting. And then we have a little rowboat, and that represents sats. We have a giant cruise ship, and that represents affirmation. We have a speedboat that represents visualization. And we have this airplane shadow that's like flying over the water from the current reality to the desired reality. And that's representing inner conversations. So obviously these are 5 of the most popular techniques that are associated with law of assumption manifestation. And there's something that most of us have used either consciously or unconsciously, intentionally or unintentionally. They're built into our life. Like, most of us have used visualization in one way or another. Oftentimes, if we sit in meditation, we tend to be visualizing something. Or, if you're a kid and you used to like daydream about things, that's visualization. Inner conversations are something that most people who have an internal monologue have, where basically you get to create these inner dialogues, whether that is good or bad. I don't know about you, but there's definitely been times where I'm having a disagreement with somebody and I will go over that in my head, and Basically, like, that's what an inner conversation is like, is you're going back and forth, but it's really just you talking to you. And then we have SATs, which are a state akin to sleep. This is when you're like really sleepy, but you're not quite asleep yet, and your brain is really tired. So the things that you're thinking about in that state, your brain is highly impressionable. So whatever you're depositing into your mental bank during that state is very important because it's really going to stick. And in this case, in the techniques, SATs refers to either purposefully getting into a meditative state, or when you first wake up in the morning, your brain's already kind of in that state, and right before you go to bed, your brain is already in that soft state where it is more easily impressed upon. And then, of course, we have scripting. I did have a couple teachers who gave us exercises of like, write a letter to your future self or things like that. And that's a form of scripting where you're basically writing as if it's already happened, or writing to a future version of you that has it. This also includes like forgiving your past self. It's a really good therapeutic tool. But basically all of these, and affirmations are just every day. Anytime you state an opinion, chocolate cake is delicious, that's an affirmation. Anytime that you state like, I'm an American, right? That's an affirmation. So affirmations are pretty standard. We can't really avoid using those. But as far as the rest of them go, they can be really great tools to leverage. And obviously, understanding that this lesson is about closing the gap. I have associated each of these techniques with images based on how well they work for me. So if I were to say, I'm this girl over here pointing to the desired reality, and I'm on Starfish Island, and I tell myself, I really want to get to Crab Island. For me, scripting is not something I'm very consistent with. It's not something that comes naturally to me. It's not something that I particularly enjoy. Sometimes I'm in the mood for it, but most of the time I'm not. So that would be equivalent for me to swim from Starfish Island to Crab Island. It might take me a while. And that's because I'm not going to be very consistent with it. And that's because it just doesn't resonate with me as much. This doesn't mean that scripting will be any less effective for you. Again, these are just my examples for my life to help you understand how the techniques work. Now, SATs work a little bit better. There's been times for sure where I'm going to bed with thoughts in my head and, ruminating on those thoughts, going over and over about those thoughts. And in the morning, some type of manifestation happens that's related to the very thing that I fell asleep thinking about. So that would be equivalent of me hopping in a rowboat and saying, I'm going to take this rowboat from Starfish Island to Crab Island. And then, as you can see, we've got faster modes of transportation. A cruise ship, although is very sturdy and stable and always there, it's pretty slow in terms of how quick it moves. It's not going to get me from Starfish Island to Crab Island very quickly, but it's going to steadily get there. Whereas for me, visualization is a speedboat. It's pretty quick. I can get from my current reality to my desired reality using visualization rather fast in comparison to the other techniques. And then inner conversations are almost a hybrid between affirmations and visualization. So what I mean by this is even though you can't see yourself, you're not always intentionally trying to conjure an image of you talking to somebody in your head, it feels as if you are having that conversation. And if you know what this person looks like, it's even easier to automatically visualize having a conversation with them. So that's why I've put that one as the airplane. But either way, if you can see in this analogy, no matter which technique I use, no matter which vehicle I use, no matter which form of transportation I use to get myself from Starfish Island to Crab Island, I'm going to get there as long as I continue to be consistent. And this doesn't mean that I can never take a day off. This just means I need to be consistently going in the direction I desire to go. Because otherwise, what is going to happen? Here's the one of the most common misconceptions about manifestation and the techniques and all of that is you think that if you, let's say, for example, if you are using SATs and you're in that little rowboat, you think that if you stop paddling, if you stop using SATs, you're just gonna stay there. You're just going to stay in that same location. You're not gonna move. You're gonna be stuck in the middle of this body of water, and you're not any closer or further from either island. But that's actually not what happens. What happens is if you stop rowing your rowboat, the current of the water is going to pull you back towards Starfish Island. You're actually going to start moving back towards your default settings, towards your underlying unconscious beliefs. You're going to go back to what you're used to, and this is because the brain is wired for homeostasis. It wants to keep you in the same spot because even if it wasn't the most comfortable or joyous, it's most likely safe enough in your nervous system that you can predict that you will be able to survive in it, that you'll be able to continue living under those conditions. And this is why it's so important to be consistent in the news story. You don't have to script every day, and you don't have to have inner conversations every day. You definitely don't have to visualize every day, but you have to make sure that your mind is living on Crab Island. Your mind has to be there already. So when you are affirming, you're saying, wow, I love being in Crab Island. There's so much money on Crab Island. I'm so healthy on Crab Island. I love, seeing all the sights and touring Crab Island. And I love the people on Crab Island. And okay, obviously this is an analogy for whatever your desired reality is. When you're saying those affirmations, you're saying, I'm already on Crab Island. You are not this girl on the left pointing and saying, Crab Island's over there and I'm here. You're not saying my desires are over there and I'm here, because that creates the gap. And remember, we are intending to close the gap. We are trying to get ourselves mentally from Starfish Island to Crab Island, and the vehicles are how we make sure we get there. They are something that we are able to control. They are a tool we are able to utilize. And when we use them, it speeds up our manifestation. It closes the gap quicker. So what you can do at home using this exercise is to, you can draw out a little picture, or you can just list a speedboat, an airplane, a cruise ship, a rowboat, and swimming. And right next to them, visualization, inner conversations, affirmations, SATs, and scripting based on how they work for you, okay? So if a speedboat is 5, meaning it is the fastest way to get you from your current reality to your desired reality, then the plane is going to be 4, the cruise ship will be 3, the rowboat will be 2, and the swimmer will be 1. Rate the techniques for yourself on what is the fastest for you and what is the slowest for you and what are the ones in between. And keep note also, I don't particularly enjoy doing visualization or affirmations. They're not that exciting. I do enjoy inner conversations, and as far as SATs meditation goes, I haven't tried them too much. I haven't had too much practice with SATs or scripting because I just don't feel naturally gravitated to them. So when you do your rating, consider how much joy you experience doing them, and set the intention that the ones that work best for you from your lived experience, I'm talking about assessing manifestations you've already successfully completed, whether this is getting an A in math, or somebody buying you the gift that you wanted, or manifesting a text message. Even if it's a quote-unquote small success, I want you to record how effective the technique was for you. And this will help you to understand, okay, I know personally for me, if I do more visualization, I can close the gap much faster. When I go in my head and imagine a scene that represents it's already done, I'm already on Crab Island. I already have that money. I already have that, fitness goal. My body looks how I want it to look. I have the relationship dynamic that I desire. When I do visualization, it's very quick that my 3D world will close the gap. Whereas when I do scripting, I have not found as much success. And this is an assumption in itself, of course. But for me, I've scripted and there's been almost no results from the things I've scripted. So I just don't do it that much. And that's why it's the equivalent of swimming from Starfish Island to Crab Island, because it just doesn't close the gap for me very quickly. But yes, the acknowledgement of the gap is not what we're focused on. If you're focused on being on Starfish Island and pointing to Crab Island, you are acknowledging the gap. And what we don't want to do is give the gap power. We don't want to acknowledge the gap because, as Neville Goddard put it, it is not a negative or positive thing to affirm away a situation. He basically was saying, it doesn't help you to erase something from your reality by focusing on it. What actually erases something from your reality is complete and total indifference. That means you don't even think about it. You're not worried about it. You're not afraid of it. It basically doesn't exist for you. So this is how we want to treat the gap. We want to imagine that we are already in our desired reality and that the quote-unquote gap doesn't exist because we're no longer on Starfish Island. From the moment that you realize you are creating this mental gap, you need to redirect your thoughts and use these techniques to place yourself on your desired reality. And it doesn't matter which technique you use, so long as you're consistently pointing in the direction of your desired reality, you will get there. So I intend that the metaphors and analogies used in this lesson were helpful to create a visual reminder of how techniques work and why it's important to be consistent, as well as addressing the gap and how to truly eliminate it so that you can feel present as though you are in your desired reality, that you already have whatever it is you're manifesting, and you are not focused on the lack of it. You're not focused on where you presently are. Instead, you are choosing to be in the state of your wish fulfilled. Thank you so much for tuning into this video lesson. If you have any questions about it, you're welcome to leave them in the comments, or if you have any recommendations on techniques or topics you'd like me to cover on this premium membership, please feel free to share them down below so that I can create more value for you on this premium membership. I will catch you all in the next video, and I hope you have the best of luck and the most fun possible in your manifestation journey.